It is Kerbal time. Kerbal Space Program being the best space disaster simulator to ever hit the markets. Now let's use it to prove that reusable launch vehicles work in a realistic economic environment. Now at NHSA, our big philosophy here is that if something cannot be tested beforehand, it will not fly. And in that case, we're not just going to send our first vehicle up without testing, so of course we tested all systems thoroughly, including full duration static fires of, for example, such as the Nebula 1's second stage and the first stage. Now once we have had successful static fires of both stages, we were ready to press on for our first launch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. We have liftoff. Vehicle has cleared the tower. Vehicle is pitching downrange. Power and telemetry nominal. First stage propulsion is experiencing an anomaly. All teams stand by. We have had an anomaly on the vehicle. Vehicle going into safing mode. We lost the vehicle. So what made that flight so short? In summary, this little yet incredibly significant piece of hardware, the turbo pump. The pump that spins incredibly fast, and I believe on this vehicle it is around 22,000 RPM, if I can remember correctly, in order to pump the high pressure fuel through the engine. However, one of the blades started to chip and crack, so the vehicle lost a large amount of its thrust, was not able to have enough thrust to both keep the vehicle pointed upright or keep the vehicle ascending and accelerating. So, as a result, at about 5 to 6 seconds into flight, the vehicle just began to tumble and fall right back towards the ground where it started. Anyways, while that one may have not have been as successful as I had hoped, we can push on, complete the build, complete the testing, and attempt orbit on Flight 2. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. We have a liftoff. Vehicles cleared the tower. Power and telemetry nominal. Vehicle is pitching downrange. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal. MECO. Vehicle is off orientation. Vehicle is in a tumble. We have a successful stage separation. Stage 2 propulsion is slightly underperforming. Other than that, vehicle propulsion remains nominal. Stage 2 is on a nominal trajectory. Propellant pressures remain nominal. all teams, we have had a premature engine shutdown on stage 2. We do not have a nominal orbital insertion. I repeat, we do not have an orbital insertion. Well, what did us in that time? What doomed Flight 2 is aerodynamic stability upon engine shutdown. When Stage 1 shut down, we had no force, which was the thrust vectoring on the first stage, to keep us pointed in the correct direction, meaning the vehicle wanted to go which way it was most naturally stable. This was the tumble you saw just before stage separation. But what ultimately doomed this flight was stage separation itself. Since it was tumbling, each stage has different mass, so once they separated, like this, as you can see here, a slow motion replay, the second stage engine nozzle hit the separation mechanism on the first stage, causing the engine to be damaged. This damage was not apparent at first, as it caused no issues, but later down the line, it led to a slow decay of engine performance, leading us to fail to achieve orbit. But we can scrape enough money together for one last attempt. And if this attempt fails, we will not succeed as a company. But if this flight achieves low Earth orbit, then we can move on to a larger rocket. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. We have liftoff. Vehicles clear the tower. Vehicle is pitching downrange. Vehicle power and telemetry is nominal. Vehicle is on a nominal trajectory. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal. Vehicle is passing through max Q. Stage 1 throttle down. Miko. Side panels jettisoned. Stage separation is confirmed. Stage 2 ignition confirmed. Seco. Vehicle is in a nominal parking orbit. Oh my god, it did it. I am literally pogging out of my mind right now. This is like Omega Poggers moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we have achieved orbit, we have deployed our satellite, and it is the end of an era for NHSA and really the whole world. We are moving away from single-use rockets and moving to more economical options, and I will demonstrate they work with NHSA's next rocket, the Nebula 9.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Stage 1 tanks pressing for flight.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Infecting chill has started. Miko.
Operation confirmed. Bearing separation confirmed. Payload separation confirmed.
And with our first cargo capsule on its way to the space station, we have demonstrated that the Nebula 9 launch vehicle is viable. Now we can start outfitting it to have a reusable first stage. We are going to do this in a small bits of progression to make sure we're not entirely redesigning the system, so we can have our first launch with landing legs to do soft water testing, and then, if that succeeds, we can have our first launches with grid fins to test accurate landing on a barge before we risk landing so close back to the launch pad. Now, I think it wouldn't be fair if I didn't explain how this landing system is supposed to work. In short, the vehicle launches like any other rocket. A vertical ascent, powered by 9 Nova engines. Nova 1D engines, that is. These are the 4th iteration of these engines. The vehicle does a small roll program to align to its azimuth, and ascends, pitching over slowly as it reaches base. Now the vehicle throttles down as it passes through the transonic regime and throttles back up once it's supersonic, just to limit the loads on the vehicle so it doesn't rip itself apart. Now we can see the vehicle is nearly at 45 degrees over, so the only reason rockets really go up is just to get out of the atmosphere. So after the first stage shuts down all 9 engines, it lets go of the second stage, and the second stage ignites and heads on its way to orbit. But we're not going to watch that right now. We're going to switch over to the booster and watch how it returns to land. Now this will be a demonstration of landing back at the launch site. To land on a barge, you just take out the boost back burn. Now this is the boost back burn. It lights 3 of the 9 engines to turn around and aim its trajectory back towards the launch site. We can see that trajectory being represented by a red X on the surface of the planet, which you can see there, and we switch down to 1 engine to complete the burn so that we can fine-tune our trajectory. Now keep in mind the booster is still clean at this point. Regardless, it is going to float through space and the upper atmosphere until it re-enters. Now once it gets lower down in the atmosphere, the vehicle again lights 3 of the 9 engines to slow down because the engine exhaust is actually cooler than the heat of re-entry, so it provides the vehicle with essentially a force field. Now you can see that entry burn has dumped soot all over the booster, making it quite dirty, but now, since we're lower down, we can start using the grid fins, and using the grid fins in a way to create lift along the vehicle. Now the booster is going to light 3 engines to kick off the landing burn, and once it deploys the landing legs, it'll down select to 1 engine. This is because with 3 engines, it has way too much thrust to even hover, meaning the landing has to be extremely precise. Now, while hovering does waste a lot of fuel, the vehicle has more than enough margins for what we need. Now, the landings weren't always this smooth, this is just a demo. The actual landings, well, let's just say that took a lot of coding and a lot of bug fixing to be able to successfully land a booster. So without further ado, let's check out some of those failures. Now that we know how to successfully land a booster on a drone ship, well, we can start doing it more on every mission, if it's possible. And by doing that, we're not quite reusing them yet, but we are gaining an incredible amount of data about what the booster experiences and what we need to do to be able to refly it again. Some cleaning of the engines, and honestly, just throwing a new second stage on. The landing legs, however, in its current state, need to be unbolted completely and new ones put on every launch because of their pyrotechnic nature. This will be fixed in the next Ultimate version, which is in the works. So gaining experience here was the hard part because I have 36 hours logged in Visual Studio Code just working on the landing script alone, not even the launch script. So yeah, this is why this is taking so long. But eventually it was just a lot of chucking the booster in all sorts of wonky trajectories and seeing if it could correct, which it can, to varying degrees of accuracy, but it can. I believe I came out to a accuracy rate of 2 meters. Yeah, okay. So whatever point I aim it at, I am going to land within 2 meters of that point, and within 1 meters per second of a perfect landing. So regardless, with that experience, let's get to our first reflight.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Stage 1 tanks pressing for flight.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Equal as supersonic.
Infecting chill has started.
State
Nico.
separation confirmed. Fairing separation confirmed.
Stage 1, entry burn startup. Stage 1, entry burn shutdown.
Seco.
Nominal park orbit insertion.
Stage 1, landing burn startup. Stage 1.
So
Payload separation confirmed.
Now that we've landed quite a few times, I think we now know what changes need to be made to make the vehicle more reusable than it is in its current state. So I'm proud to present the Nebula 9 version 1.2.
fine, we are go.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition and liftoff. separation confirmed.
Invac ignition.
Stage 1, entry burn startup.
TECO.
Stage 1, landing burn startup.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Stage 1, landing leg deploy. Stage 1, landing confirmed.
And that is a great view of Dragon separating from the
separation
top
confirmed.
of the second stage.
I should probably talk about what these upgrades are. Now, we'll go from top to bottom of the rocket when explaining this. First of all, the soundproofing and vibration dampening systems in the fairing have been updated to become more efficient and more mass efficient. The second stage engine has been upgraded from the third design to the fourth, which is more efficient and has higher thrust. The inner stage have been swapped from the aluminum, which the rest of the rocket uses, to carbon fiber for mass and higher strength. The grid fins have moved from aluminum to titanium, and they now have a serrated edge, which allows for higher control during descent, as without them, air tends to build up in the lattice when transitioning from supersonic to subsonic. The vehicle has tons of structural upgrades, including in-house made structural components, which allow the vehicle to be more mass efficient. The landing legs can now be simply retracted by ground personnel rather than completely removed. The upgraded heat shield around the engines allows for more reusability of the engines from less heat damage, and the engines have been upgraded from the third design to the fourth, which is more efficiency and all the performance we can possibly squeeze out of the engines squeezed out of them. This design should allow us to begin flying heavier payloads and still being able to recover the first stage, as well as maybe carrying crew. However, we still have one more new launch vehicle to debut, and while it's not the upgraded version, it is still based off old 1.1 boosters. It's quite more complex, and that is Nebula Heavy. Well, that is going to be part 1 of part 2 complete, because this has come out to way longer than I was hoping it would be. But regardless, we don't have to worry about that. We'll just make another part. So, like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.